Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Zoltan, and thanks a lot for joining me here at my bass lounge, both on YouTube and at my website, zoltansbasslounge.com. Okay, now today marks a real exciting day here because I'm going to teach you the very first notes that you can play in half position. Okay, so we are really starting to get into playing now. All right. Now, half position marks the area where basically you come from an open string all the way up to your fourth finger here without having to move your hand anywhere else. So there is no shifting included in half position. That's it. These are the notes that will be available to us. All right. So knowing that, let's investigate. So let's find out what the notes are on all the different strings here. Starting with the G string, the very first note on that G string will be an A flat, and it's a semitone difference. So listen out for this semitone interval, okay? And it's an interesting note because I could have called this A flat a G sharp as well. It still would be the same note, but I could have called it differently depending on what key I'm playing in. And that is what's called an enharmonic note. That is an enharmonically spelled note. So depending on what key you're playing in, sharp key, it would be a sharp note, so it'd be a G sharp, or a flat key, it would be a flattened note, A flat. But essentially it's the same note. So just to let you know about enharmonic spelling. Okay, but I'm going to talk to you about it some more, and the term will come up a lot in the future as well. Okay, so let's just continue from there then. So we've got our enharmonically spellable A flat or G sharp. The next note with our second finger will be an A natural. And our fourth finger will fall onto a B flat. Okay. Now on the way back, your fourth finger will play the B flat. The second finger will play the A natural. And the first finger will play the G sharp or A flat. Okay. Now coming back to that B flat here for a quick second here, you could have called that B flat an A sharp. Have you come from this A note here and sharpened that A note up to this next note there, you could have called it an A sharp, and that's again enharmonically spelling the same note, either A sharp or B flat. Okay. And those are the notes on our G string here. Okay, now let's carry on to the D string, and let's see what's happening here. Now the very first note that we have, again an inch from the knot here, is an E flat with your first finger, and you could also spell that note a D sharp had you counted it from your open D. Sharpening your D would have made it a D sharp, but flattening your E, your next note here, this is your E, flattening that makes this note here an E flat. Okay, so this is another enharmonically spellable note. All right. And our second finger will be on the E natural itself, and the fourth finger will then play the F natural. Okay. On the way back, F with your fourth finger, and E with your second finger, E flat or D sharp with your first finger, and your open D string. Okay. Very cool. Now let's get onto your A string. The first note here with your first finger is a B flat, or do I hear you say it also could be an A sharp? That's right. And harmonically you could call it an A sharp coming from the A, or we actually counted it from the B natural, so we called it a B flat. So that already tells me my next note with my second finger will be a B natural. And the next note with your fourth finger is a C natural. And I have to tell you, this is one of my favorite notes on the bass, because just listen to this nice, lovely interval with that open G. It just got a real natural, beautiful ring to it. Very rich ring to this interval here. Anyways, let's carry on. So on the way back, C is your fourth finger, the B natural with your second finger, and your B flat with your first finger, and then your open A. Excellent, we're almost there. We've only got one string to go here. Okay, so let's get onto that E string here. We'll have ourselves an F natural here as our very first note. Again, an inch away. So you've got your E to an F, yeah? Your second finger will play the F sharp, or you could call that note a G flat if you came from, had you come from the G natural and flattened it down. But we're just going to call it an F sharp on the way up, okay? And the fourth finger will play the G natural here. And on the way back, you'll have the G with your fourth finger. Let's see, we'll call this note G flat this time. But enharmonically, we already spelled it F sharp on the way up. So this time, we're just going to call it G flat. So we'll learn both names, okay? And down to your F, first finger, and your open E. Okay, and those are the notes in half position. All right, now before we wrap up this segment, I want to point out a few little things here for you, just to help you learn things and help you maintain your posture and your intonation and all that, okay? And first of all, I want you to isolate a string at a time when you learn these notes, okay? So just take one string and learn it real meticulously on that one string. Learn your notes, so give yourself time. Don't rush into learning everything all at once, okay? And check your hand, check your posture, and check your positioning of your fingers for your intonation, okay? A good posture really helps your intonation, as we discussed it in the left-hand video, okay? And check your intonation with open strings as well. All right, it's really helpful. It can really put your note into the real center of that note by checking it against another open string. You will hear it, because if your intonation is not exactly right, your note will start to sound quite bad, or not very pleasant to listen to. So, but once it's right, your ears will pick that up immediately. Okay. And also call your notes out. As you play and as you go through all the different strings, call your notes out. So you start to memorize which finger is playing which note on what string. Okay. So you're learning the geography of the bass itself, of the fingerboard. And that's a very, very important thing, because throughout our different positions, we have a few things to learn. And so a good start will be always be just helpful to you, okay? And just coming back to kind of playing with different intervals, and so comparing your notes you're playing to open strings, try to find strings that will give you a nice sounding interval when you relate them to an open string. Okay, I mean, try to find strings that will relate real nicely to the note that you're playing at the time. Okay, because you'll find some real nice intervals and some real nice kind of little things to play, and that can always just enhance your experience of practicing. You know, it always just makes things that maybe just that much nicer to listen to. You know what I mean? That. Maybe there's a nice E there with an open E, or with an A. I love this one here, the B flat to a G, the B natural here to a G, and the C here to a G. I mean, that could be the start of a little bass piece. Like that. Okay, so work on your intonation like that. Make sure that your positioning is right and your notes are really well in tune. Okay, you need to get into that habit now at the very beginning, so you don't make real big mistakes later on. Okay, and so you train yourself to do things right from the very beginning. Okay, Now, just a couple more things that I want to mention to you before we go is that I always try to maintain that lovely posture that we've got the luxury of here on the G string. You see, everything is real nice and positive, and you've got that real nice, strong, straight line of your forearm, wrist, and hand, and your fingers curling onto the string. So it's all happening there real well, real nicely on your G string. So like I said before, bring your shoulder in to the other strings. Just bring it in a little bit at a time to the D, a little more for the A, and a little more for the E. So you'll maintain that straight line as much as possible. Okay, it's a very important thing to do to keep a good blood circulation going in your hand. Okay, so you don't get tired and numb very quickly. All right, so that's a very important thing to consider or to remember, and also to start to get into the habit of keeping your fingers on the same string. All right, and don't, for example, you're playing a B flat on your G string, don't have everything else just kind of leaning out in, just kind of hanging out in outer space there. No, their function is to stay with your hand there, and especially when you play with your little finger, have everything else on the string there, supporting that little finger for you. Okay, and when you play with your second finger, have the first finger there supporting your second finger. Okay, your hand will remain much more powerful that way. Okay, so just try to keep yourself on the same string with all of your fingers that you're playing at a time. Okay, that's again a real important point in playing, and these points will crop up again and again and again. So you know, in a few videos times you'll start to be sick of me telling you that, but that's great, because then you will remember them, and your playing will get on to a real good start. Okay, all right, you guys. Now we're gonna finish here because we've done some real good work here today, and watch this video as many times as you think you need to, and get comfortable with the notes, learn them, you know, make sure that the points that I mentioned are there, and once you're comfortable, and once you think you're really ready to go, then come and join me on these next videos of this series, and we'll get into some real nice playing here. Okay, so until then, thanks a lot, you guys, for watching this video, and thanks for joining me here at my bass lounge, and I'll see you next time.